Once more, we turn another page in the story of Auntie Alice. In this following excerpt, lifted from the book Legendary Territorians by a no lesser legend of the NT himself in the late Reg Harris, we focus on the story of Reg Harris and how he came to call Alice Springs and the Northern Territory his home. It's 1947. Reg Harris was working as an electrician for one of Adelaide's largest contracting firms when he was called into the chief engineer's office. The company had just secured two major projects, one in Broken Hill of New South Wales and the other in a place most South Australians knew only as a tiny dot in the middle of the continent on a map, Alice Springs. Reg's colleague immediately asked for a Broken Hill job, hoping to visit his father's grave. Reg, with, well, no particular preference and very little idea of what awaited him, accepted the Alice Springs assignment. Like most people in Adelaide at the time, he imagined a remote, dusty settlement, something like a Wild West town, all tin roofs and desolate streets. On May the 24th, he boarded a Guinea Airways DC-3 Dakota for the long flight north, stopping at Lee Creek and Oodnadatta along the way. When he stepped off the plane in Alice Springs, he was greeted by a stocky man in shorts. That man was Lie Underdown, already a well-known figure in and about the town and later remembered as Uncle of the Alice. Reg's first surprise was the landscape. Instead of the flat, empty deserts he'd pictured, Alice was, as we all see it, surrounded by the McDonnell Ranges, rugged, colourful and strikingly beautiful. His second surprise was meeting the local Aboriginal people. Until then, he'd only encountered light-skinned Aboriginal people in Adelaide. The deep, rich skin tones of Central Australia were new to him and already seeping into his blood. For the first year, he couldn't take his eyes off those ranges, but after some time, he became accustomed to them and began to look elsewhere for interest. And he found it here, in the people. The town was full of great characters, many as unique as the scenery itself. Some of them, he later joked, if they had been alive 50 years earlier, would have been arrested. Alice Springs in 1947 had fewer than 2,000 residents and was still largely unknown to interstate visitors. Accommodation was, to say the least, limited. The old Stuart Arms Hotel, which was built in 1889, still relied on shared bathrooms at the end of the hall. A little bit further up the road, on what is now Todd Street, Ms. Hazel Golder ran a modest guest house, mostly for stockmen. She offered clean beds at fair prices and was known for her excellent coffee made with powdered milk, as fresh milk supply simply wasn't available. No social event in town felt complete without Hazel's coffee served at supper. The Underdown family, meanwhile, operated the Hotel Alice Springs, built in the 1930s by Lie and his lifelong friend Noonie. Its accommodation wing held only a handful of rooms, none with private facilities. Guests walked outside to reach the ablution block, a reminder of how remote the town still was. Looking back, Reg believed four groups laid the foundation for Central Australian tourism. Those being the Underdown family, newspaper editor Alan Walkup and publisher Pop Chapman, coach operator Len Tuitt also, who opened the first regular route to Darwin and later on to Ayers Rock, as well as aviation pioneer the legend Eddie Kennellan, whose airline helped connect the Red Centre to the rest of Australia. And so this was the Alice Springs Reg Harris stepped into, a small town on the edge of the desert, ready to grow and full of stories waiting to unfold.
Join us next time for more stories and Legendary Territorians by Reg Harris.